And good morning. Welcome to the Cornbread Man Morning Show. I am your host, the Cornbread Man, Dave in the AM. And we hope that you are having a great Monday morning so far and have had a great weekend. Cold weather is on the way. It's still relatively warm outside for what we've been having, but the temperatures are going to fall and it'll be rather cold tonight. So we're going to get a cold, at least nighttime, 20s start to the new year, which is quickly approaching us. 2026 is almost here. We didn't broadcast on the yesterday, but except in the morning, we were asked to come to work. So we actually, someone was sick. There's a lot of sickness going around, folks. I've saw some postings about it. I've talked to people. I don't know about all across the country, but I can tell you our area, and that was when I say area, I'm talking about the southeastern United States over here in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, da 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 da. Is there's a lot of the flus and stuff going around. In fact, one of my grandchildren has had it. Everybody's sort of just hoping nothing happens. But the hospital rooms are hospitals, the emergency rooms are full. Doctors' offices and the such are very, very busy right now with all of this, and it is a booger bear to get rid of if you get it. I know there's a lot of people that say, I never get the flu, I never do this, I never do that. Oh, it's fine, it's great, but I can tell you a lot of people do have it. And my granddaughter was extremely sick. She is on the mend, but she had battled not feeling good for days, and finally it got to be just too much. Could not manage it. Had been to the doctor, I believe, and then had to go to the emergency room there in Chattanooga, the T.C. Thompson's Children's Hospital. She's still able to go to her age, still a minor, and but get quickly growing up. But she has been sick, but she's doing better. In fact, at church, I was leaving prayer about that, and the prayers are answered because she is better. I was better late last night. Was feeling better, but I think still kind of recovery. Kids, it's just so their immune systems are so great. They really do recover very quickly on a lot of things. It gets tougher for us as we get older in some cases. But I was reading posts late last night of people who were saying what they're dealing with. And so anyway, take care of yourself out there. It is that time of year. Obviously, a lot of viruses and stuff, but different types of flus. She had the B type flu, is my understanding. And I've never known her to be down too much. She's pretty robust and able to go, but this one got her. So just hoping for her recovery, which she has now. Hoping my wife didn't get it because they had spent some time together, been in the same car over a few days before that. So far so good. So far so good. She is okay, and we're thankful for that. That would not be good on her because she has had such a hard time. But be careful out there. It is that time of year. Slippery surfaces. A lot of the country is getting hit with the snowstorms and ice storms and all of that. And you got to be careful. Get a little older, you fall down, start busting hips and ankles and knees and everything else. Saw someone who had to have a knee. I don't know them. Somehow they're connected to someone I know. They tore their knee up skiing. So that can happen too. Doing work around the house, you hit a slippery step, just going from there to the car, there to the mailbox. That black ice kind of thing. You don't even realize it's there. Take precautions in those type of things. You don't want to be hurt anytime, especially through the holidays. It was a busy weekend of sports. We will be talking about that tonight. We have on the racing hour, we have Scott Smith, a local driver. We have a number of interviews lined up. Of course, Miss Danielle Lohner has been in with us. We're really examining the dirt track scene, and we're blessed to have several that are interested in coming in and being with us and sharing their story. It's not our story, it's their story. And we're looking forward to that. For them talking about their career, sponsorships, because some of them race at different tracks even, so they can give us a perspective of that. We have been offered to be able to put the GoPro on one of the cars and get some first hand footage there, shots, and I appreciate that. That's really nice of them to do that. That he will be with us tonight about 5:30, 5:45. We usually kick off with the racing hour. Then we'll talk about sports. There was a lot of sports over the weekend. There'll be sports throughout, obviously, the first as football. I mean, Monday Night Football tonight will be Atlanta Falcons. Boy, they're, I mean, they're wondering about the scheduling now, but we're wrapping up the regular season just about there, and then the playoffs will begin. Of course, college football playoffs are continuing. The bowls have been going on, and now we're going to see the next phase of the college football playoffs, and we'll see how those teams do. Politically, same old smorgasbord. The president is trying to bring the peace deal home, and here we go again. We're very close. We're right on the doorstep. Both parties seem interested. We got a couple of sensitive issues we got to work through, but we think we're there. I'm not buying it. I just don't think that. I don't think that either side is truly wanting peace, because they're not going to agree to the terms. One, Putin does. He's got the leverage. He's not. He's wanting to get more of the Donbass and different areas, and Zelensky is not wanting to cede land. So they agree on about maybe 18 points, 17, 18 points on the 20-point plan, and then here we go. So it's the Mar-a-Lago, calls into Russia. Zelensky visited over. They're all playing nice, saying great things. The president, though, did throw caution in the wind and say, if we don't get peace now, millions are going to die, and probably will. I mean, there's a lot that have died, or casualties or whatever in this war, and it will probably continue, because I don't really think that either side, these two men are not going to give in. It's going to have to take some changes, I believe, and I have seen where the Ukrainians have built these huge trenches, a series of them for 31 miles, trying to limit the ability of the Russians to come across with tanks, and there's drones there. There's all kinds of ways they're doing that because they know they can't. The manpower is a problem. Yeah, they fought valiantly. I give them that. I mean, they have fought valiantly, but it's really a mess for for both sides, really. I mean, the Russians, they just have more to throw at them, and they just, the troops are cannon fodder. They just keep throwing them out there and throwing them out there, and they'll just keep doing that. And Zelensky's side, of course, financially, it's a disaster for them to try to continue, but manpower wise is probably really the biggest part, because they just don't have as much to throw out there. I mean, we know they've jerked the boys and old men off the streets, injured or forced out there on both sides before they're really ready to go. There's definitely been stories leaked out about men on crutches who are back on the front lines, in the trenches or wherever, firing guns. I mean, they're still highly injured, but just throwing them out there, cannon fodder. So I don't think much is going to happen with that. I would be shocked. I just think it's a nothing burger. I don't think. Certainly the president wants that, and is to be able to say we brought peace. Certainly the world would like to see. I mean, who wants to sit back and watch the carnage that's continuing? The people suffer. The old people. Just families. We know Christians and churches and pastors that are, we know people connected. Their families are in the regions of that part of Ukraine that have suffered so mightily, and our heart goes out. On the ground level, people are people. No one wants war to come to their neighborhood. No one wants to be woken up by the drones and missile carnage that's coming into the cities, targeting schools, shopping centers, apartment buildings from the Russians. And you're speaking peace, but when you look at what's going on, they're sending massive amounts on both sides. The president even alluded to that. There were explosions in Russia he said, I can't say for sure, basically. But basically, he's pretty sure that Ukraine was active. And this is what we get. Every time they're close to a deal, they keep shooting at each other. Somebody find out where Lindsey Graham is. Good morning. How you doing? Barrel Proof Veteran. How you doing? God bless you if you're a veteran. God bless your service. Yeah, I get that a lot with the mustache, and I got the little poochy face and stuff. So diabetes. So I guess I'm known as the Cornbread Man, but I guess I'm known as him too. Good morning, Booty Chow. 6169, how you doing? You are my sunshine. What a nice name. How you doing? That's a cheer 'em up kind of name. Absolutely. Happy Monday. We're going to talk about some things that we usually do on the morning show right now. And one is the National Day. And today, the National Day is not a heavy day. We have two, which usually you see more, but it's the holiday time of year. It is National Pepper Pot Day. Pepper Pot Day. You can read that kind of funny, but it celebrates a soup with deep roots, um, different flavors. So that is what they celebrate. Pepper pot soup is a highly seasoned soup prepared with peppercorns, small bits of meat, tripe, vegetables, and broth. The dish may be more familiar by the name of Philadelphia pepper pot because it was brought to the area by the people from Africa, the West Indies, and the Caribbean. Colonial black women served the dish in their homes, the homes where they worked, and in markets. It is considered an early street food by many historians. So that is one of your national days today. It is also National TikTok Day. TikTok, now not the social media, but this is an annual day observed on December 29th to remind us to complete any unfinished business that might need addressing before the end of the year. And you don't have many shopping days left before the end of the year. So if you're going to donate to a charity, get the tax credit and all that off of there, stuff like that, business transactions that need to be completed. So unfinished business. What's your business that you're celebrating a national day? So that's the two national days today. As far as birthdays, let's see if John Voight, boy, he's a great actor and a good conservative. 86 years old today. John Voight, happy birthday to you. Ted Danson, TV actor, most people remember him, Cheers and other things. 77 years old today. Judd Law, 52 today. Anybody else? Let's see. Myles Garrett, 29. What a football player. He's got an opportunity to set a record. I don't know if he's already set it, but he was on the verge of setting a record. He's also known as the guy that ripped the helmet off of the quarterback and was going to use it on him. Was at he was Cleveland. Who was they playing? Pittsburgh, I think that was. Well, that's been a few years ago. Danny McBride is 48 today. Let's see if there's any more I want to. Mary Tyler Moore passed away in 2017. Her birthday also fell on today. But happy birthday to you. If it's your birthday today, we wish you a happy birthday. You share a birthday with some of those folks and many, many others. That's just the ones that we're covering. So happy birthday to those folks. This day in history. Let's see. Texas joins the Union, 1845. Texas joins the Union. You know, Texas was the only one. I think they finally took measures to stop that, I think, but they were the only one that my birthday was 3 days ago. Well, happy birthday to you late. And however old you are, I like your dog picture there, but happy birthday to you 3 days late. We didn't know it. If we'd have known it, we would have said happy birthday to you. But Texas was able to leave the Union legally still. I think they've closed that loop now. And yes, back in the day, people don't like to talk because the southern states were legally allowed to leave the Union. So no matter what people want to say about that time frame, they had a legal right to do it. It was a collection of states. Now, are we stronger with all the states? Yes. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and truth forever. Yes. And I'm glad we're all together now. But at the time, they had a legal right to leave. History tries to paint that up that they did something wrong. They had a legal right to leave. They had a legal right to form. They had a legal right to elect a president or select one of their choosing and all those things. But that was a time frame in history. But Texas joined in 1845. And within less than 20 years, they were at war. But not as many battles as others. So anyway, London's worst air raid today, 1940. Boy, the 24,000 high explosive bombs and 100,000 incendiary bombs in one of the most aggressive attacks in the city, setting London afire. Firefighters work amid the dropping bombs and are able to save some of the city's landmarks, such as St. Paul's Cathedral, from total destruction. Can you imagine that kind of military bombing ability to be falling on your city? My gosh. Well, like I said, war is no good. People suffer, people die, things are destroyed. If we can at all avoid it, and I know sometimes throughout history, depending on where, it may have been unnecessary, but sometimes it's been necessary. But I just don't like that. No, nobody should like that. And yeah, this land is my land. This land is your land. Exactly. Let's just not argue. We can disagree. We can disagree. Nobody's going to think exactly alike. I don't expect anybody. I don't get in anybody's business that way. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian, but I'm not. I'm not here to force anybody or to even try. I cannot even force somebody to think my way. That's between you and your Maker and you and God. Obviously, we have a desire to help win people, and a mission to help people from Christ to win people. But you can't force anybody. I mean, if somebody they're either going to or they're not. We present the information and pray for people. But you know what? I got friends from all backgrounds. I have friends that are believers, friends that are not believers. I got friends that are all over the political spectrum. We don't argue. We agree to disagree on certain things. We have a love for each other. I have neighbors that have differing beliefs. Work with the people. We have friends in the podcast that are all over the place. We don't have a problem. I just don't, you know, I'm very much, a believer in staying out of somebody's business. I don't want somebody telling me how, forcing me to things into my child's head that I don't think should be there. I want to be able, so the schools can be a mess. And it's my job as a dad, or I'm raising a grandchild, to set the narrative on certain things. Good morning, brother Jerry Barrett. Hope you're doing well. Let's go do some blood work and see what Emory has to say about it. Well, prayers to you, my friend. I hope that your blood work goes well, Pastor Jerry Barrett, down in God's country. Yes. There's a lot of areas that's God's country, but we say that. It's a wonderful area. And blessings to your wife. We pray all that works out well. You know what? They're going to have start. You have spent some. You should have like frequent visit miles with Emory. After a while, you should start getting discounts. I seen your wife's post about the parking expense deal. And that's where they gig you a lot of times. If you think you're out, then you got to pay the whole thing again. And you know what? They should just have a Jerry Barrett parking spot right now for temporary until they're clear with you, because you have more than paid for your parking area there at Emory. They have collected enough money from you through insurance or whatever you're on. They've collected enough money from you that you shouldn't have to pay any more for that. They should just pull up and say Pastor Barrett and family. That should be your spot until they give you the clearance, and you don't have to come. You don't have to come back for 10 years or something. Bless your heart, brother. I hate you have to make that ride, but you know what? If you get great news, it'll be a fun ride home. Y'all can stop at the varsity and enjoy the varsity. Probably not. Has anybody been to the varsity? I heard all this build up. I'm Southern, I'm down here in the deep South, and I've been to the big city many, many, many times, down to the big Atlanta GA and all around it and in and out of it. I've been to the varsity, I think, twice. I'm going to probably step on some Southern toes here. I wasn't impressed. I just was not impressed. Was it? I mean, it was food. It was okay. The service to me was lousy. In fact, not only lousy, confrontational. I didn't like how I was talked to, which that's part of your dining experience. I just was not impressed. I know it's kind of a Southern landmark. I wish it no ill will. If people love it and want to go there, I hope they do great business. I'm a big believer in people working hard and doing good business. As long as you're providing a product that somebody wants, I have a great admiration for especially small business owners. and these landmarks have been around so long. I'm just not a fan. I sit there when sometimes there's a buildup is just not what it's supposed to be. When you go somewhere and you're thinking, boy, this is going to be great. And you're like, what? This did not turn out the way that I thought it was going to. Sometimes it meets your expectations. Sometimes it exceeds your expectations. I just, however, did not get a good vibe. Just didn't have a good vibe with it. I was highly, highly disappointed. But that was me. Maybe my Southern card gets turned in. Some people accuse me of that anyway, but that's okay. Now, some places I've been, there are options in Atlanta I would love to go to. I'd rather go to Goldberg's Delicatessen. I'm telling you what, fresh food. I love their man. Those cookies they bring in every. I couldn't have those all the time. Those fresh baked cookies they bring in every day, big cookies. They're worth the trip to stop by anyway. But I like their food. I hadn't been to one in a long time. Used to be one there right off of West Paces Ferry that I used to stop at a lot as I'd take the back way by the governor's mansion over there to Peachtree and some places over there that I like to visit. But I do like them. I mean, there's some other places, some of the Italian sub places and stuff like that. But yeah, I just didn't care for I didn't care for it. I know you know this place. Well, I guess I'm thinking you probably know it, but I'd rather stop at Emerson and eat at Doug's Country Vittles, baby. I hear it's not as good as it used to be when Doug was living. If you know what I'm talking about, he would his menu consisted of whatever he could find fresh that day. Is what I was always told. But good Country Vittles sitting there in little town of Emerson, Georgia, and I mean little. And up on the interstate, you better slow down when you see that Emerson city limit sign. They will pull you over left and right. Now, if you're headed south or north and you're coming through Emerson right before Ackward, you better check your speed. I'm telling you, that's how they fill their budget. They can say what they want. that that and that and Marietta. That's always the two places that always pulling a lot of people over. But Emerson, they're not very big. Marietta's much bigger, but little town of Emerson, Georgia. It's a nice little area, cute, right off lake access right there, and or there is lake access there. But Emerson, ask somebody about how often you get stopped through there. But yeah, I'd rather eat at Doug's as I would there. But anyway, to each his own. If you like the varsity, go for it. I'm just not a fan. But y'all, safe journey. You need to go eat at Buckner's below Jackson. Their food is amazing, Jerry says. I have never been there. Boy, it's only, there's been a few times that I've been through Jackson, but I have heard of Buckner's. I will mark her down. I'm sure there's bound to be a time that I will make a journey south, that far south again, and Buckner's. And if Jerry is giving it up, because Jerry could have his own restaurant. Jerry has got the food thing going on. I mean, he is the sous chef. I mean, he can dish up some country vittles and meats and all that. If he's giving it a praise, I definitely want to go now. I like places that have a name that's not a chain anyway, or there's only one or two locations, usually. I want to go to that throwed roll place, and the closest one for me, I guess, is down there in Alabama. What do they call? What is that place called? It's the throwed roll place. I know it, and I can't think of it. I think they only have two locations. One's in Branson, Missouri, I think, and then one down there in Alabama. They bring your food out in buckets. sounds like my kind of place. That's my kind of trough. I mean, there used to be a place over in Roswell, Georgia. It was called Swallow in the Hollow. They had this toast barbecue sandwich that, oh my goodness, it was great. The restaurant was in an old barn they had redone. Sadly, it went out of business. You know what? Roswell just become a different top place. They still need to do it. They just need to move it. Roswell got too uptown. They used to be downtown, small town. Roswell became busy town and trendy town. A lot of history there, but to give you an idea, there was a restaurant two doors down where the meals were well over $100. That's starting. they they had like a number for their business name. I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't 123, but it was like 208 or something. I can't remember. That's been so. I never went in there. I went down there to that was my kind of place to go eat at. If you've ever been there, Jerry, I don't know. I was there several times, and then I had told a friend of mine we're going to go down there. We went down there and they were closed. I was like, no. So the person was like, we rode all this way, and they were closed. Yes, Lambert's throw roll, and they'll throw. I mean, they throw rolls. You want to roll, you better have your catchers mitt up because they're going to throw a roll at you. And I believe, if I remember right, because I've never been there, they bring your food around in kind of the bucket. It kind of reminds me of if you've ever been to, what is that, the Hatfield McCoys up in Pigeon Forge, Sevierville Pigeon Forge. I think that's, I've been in there, and if I remember right, they brought the food out in buckets there. But that's right, Jerry. That's right. We know our restaurants. Oh, you got to know where when I'm going into town, I want to know. First of all, I want to know a good deal, and I want to know what's good food and a good deal. I'm thrifty. I don't mind paying a little bit, but I'm not walking in a place and paying $100 for a meal. I mean, come on. I'll go back and cook it myself. Give me a steak, baked tater. I don't mind paying a little bit more, especially if I'm traveling or I'm out of town. Jerry says he's about to cook 15 gallons of stew and smoke a bunch of meat. And folks, if you're in the vicinity of what is your golly, I can't think of it right now. It's not Oxford you're at. It's oh my goodness, I just went blank. But if you're in the area of within 30, 40, 50 miles of Jerry, you need to go ahead and make an order. And throw it in there, brother. I can't think of the name of the town. Well, it ain't really a town, it's an area. Jerry probably has to drive the ways to go to town. That's what when you're out in the country, town, you just here, I'm suburb. Here, people are, my wife, bless her heart. My wife at one time in her life, she thought the store was everyday stop. What are you doing? Just make a list. And when Jerry's out, when you go down to the store, you got to make sure you get everything on the trip. I mean, you're checking your list and checking it triple. I mean, you're not making a quick run back in between Walnut Grove and Oxford. And that sounds okay. That's God's country. I'm telling you, he's definitely on the hills and the hollers. And I saw this guy yesterday. He said, I met my mother-in-law's. He said, I'm country and I'm mountain, but he goes, my mother-in-law, he said, look at this holler. This black guy, he's like, look at this. I love country folk, no matter where they're from. I mean, I think this might have been Kentucky. I can't remember. That might have been South Carolina. But anyway, he said, we're out in the holler. If you ain't never been out in the holler, if you ain't never been to a place, the creek and all that, then you haven't really lived. So, we used to, and I don't remember that area down there, Jerry. You used to get down there on a broad river and go canoeing. I think it's about 30 miles to town. And when I say town, I mean like some gas stations and a couple of, I'm sure a Dollar General Market, We've got them all down here on every corner. But yeah, between Walnut Grove, that sounds like Little House on the Prairie. Wasn't that town Walnut Grove? But he ain't no Minnesota. Boy, they got problems up there. We knew it. Now everybody's finding out how bad it was up there. The governor, the fraud, places ain't filled up. They say they're spending money on it. I tell you what, and that's what they want to do to every part of our country is just mess it up like that. But yeah, Walnut Grove and Oxford has that English sound to it. Oxford, England. But Jerry, seriously, you have blessings upon you today. And we got to get that good bill of health so you can get out there and make all that. That's a lot of stew, man. 15 gallons of stew. I have this image of the old wagon train, and Jerry's out there with the big pot, and all the cowboys are riding in, and he's got this big old tub of green beans going on, stirring it with a huge stick, telling them they'll get it when it's ready. When the dinner bell rings, and they used to do that, then you eat, you eat. No, eat until the dinner bell rings. No early entry. Oxford is the birthplace of Emory University. Okay, I didn't know that. Boy, we learned a lot. Our listeners are awesome. They give us information that we did not know, and we're here. We need it. We need the information. So, absolutely. I learn every time I come on. That's like when I do the pet show Tuesday nights with Miss Janet the cat lady. I'm always learning stuff. Jerry, did you know this? I didn't know this. And know the new laws that are being passed, but your regular chiropractor can do animal chiropractor. They got to do this training or whatever. I did not know. I mean, I know sometimes I just don't pay attention to certain things because I hadn't had pets in years. I didn't know there was such a thing as take you and your dog to the chiropractor. Y'all both make an appointment. Like you go get straightened out and your dog gets straightened out. I just did not know that. I mean, that amazes me. I just something um, that I never heard of. I didn't know that you and Fido could both go get straightened out. I mean, I know that our wives can straighten us out. Me, you and the dog. I mean, that's where the expression dog house, being in the dog house. I mean, even the dog's in trouble. It's bad when the dog's in trouble. I mean, you and the dog are out there, oh, woe is me, like hee haw. What we do? We're trying to figure it out. We stepped where we shouldn't have stepped, or we didn't pick something up, or we messed up. We find ourselves out there with the dog. The dog says, yeah. Now we're both getting straightened out. Thanks a lot, buddy. I was getting along with her pretty good until you messed it up. Oh my goodness! Nowadays they build them dog houses so nice that it's like a small apartment for some of them. I've seen some get ups that were better than what some people in America live in. I'm telling you. Um, I know Uga over at University of Georgia. He lives pretty highfalutin, and I'm happy for him. And I think it's a good dog's life. I'm all good with it. Our area is where the Dukes of Hazzard County was filmed for a while. Then they went back to California. I didn't know that. And Covington, I knew about the Covington was where the entire cast of The Heat of the Night was filmed until they got kicked out of there. Well, the reason they got kicked out was because of the one actor and his drug problem, and they moved somewhere. I can't remember where they moved to, but they just couldn't stay there anymore because he messed up. And Carol O'Connor wanted what was his name? Rollins. What's his first name? Was the actor played the detective, and he just had a lot of problems. But yeah, the old, especially the early on, that those outdoor shots of the jail. Oh yeah, straight Covington. I've researched that a little bit. Hey, and one of the guys that played one of the officers was from right here in Ringgold, Georgia. I think his character name was Randy, if I remember right. But he did some music. He's a musician as well, very well accomplished musician, and played on some stuff that they did down at Harold Rollins. Thank you. I knew a brain. I ain't woke up. I worked last night till midnight. So thank you, Harold Rollins, and he had some problems. And where did they go to North Carolina? They went somewhere. They had to get out. I mean, I know they had to get out of there. The mythical Sparta, Mississippi, filmed over here in Georgia. I like that series. I'm a big fan of Carol O'Connor anyway. He was an amazing actor. Could put on many hats. But it was a good cast. They needed to fix their brakes on there. Every police car squeaked. Every one. But it was a good series. I love the humor of it, and of course, it was covering difficult subjects. Sometimes I thought they pushed something. That's what TV shows do. They tried to push some things, a little bit, because as you go along, you run out of storylines, and they were starting to push some things. I didn't like some things that they were pushing there. I thought that was just for the shock treatment of it. But early on, absolutely. I mean, things that we dealt with here in the South, and whether you wanted to or not, there was issues that we were dealing with, and so it highlighted that, and that was a fact, especially in Mississippi. He almost got jumped in Covington because he went out wearing exact replica of the white dress that Marilyn Monroe wore in her famous photo shoot. That was before people began accepting this mental disorder that they say is normal now. And I had heard that, I didn't know that, but I knew he was doing the dress up thing. I mean, I've read that. He had a real, real bad problem. Amazing actor, bad problems. And again, was heavy into drugs. Cocaine, I'm pretty sure was the big one. But yeah, did some weird stuff. And yeah, that ain't gonna play well in your city. So I don't know if he was always like that, or that the drugs just made it worse. I kind of think that was probably was there, for a long time. But he tried to stand by, his actor buddy, but it cost him a little bit. I mean, that was hard. I mean, it really did push the series. I mean, out of town. Uh, here, Jerry. I agree. Which I never saw the picture. I don't want to see the picture, but um, yeah, I'm sure not on the. You reckon he and Big Mike ever hung out? I probably will get myself in trouble. Big Mike. But yeah, we've had some. Georgia has been a place for movies and TV shows, and that's increased. Obviously, there's some areas that's trying to take some of that business out of Georgia, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We probably just don't need all that mess here. They always talk about the tax, the money that's being brought in for Georgia, but they give a lot of tax breaks, to get these people in here out of Hollywood and other places. There's some places that's battling us for that and offering bigger deals, and some of that business has shifted to other areas. I was reading an article about that here recently, that Georgia has not. It still does a lot of business, but they've lost some. But do we really want all that mess, the Hollywood mess in Georgia? That's the question. Some would say, "Oh yes." What is it? The show Stranger Things down around Jackson. Ain't that where that was? They at least done the shots there. I don't know if they filmed there, but I think that's where they did a lot of outdoor scenes and stuff there. Somebody told me about that. Yeah. Thank you, buddy. You get busy and get her done. I know how you are. You're down there telling people about Jesus, and so Emory just don't know what's fixing to hit it. There's a storm coming, and Jerry's in town. the the old song, "The boys are back in town," but Jerry and Jesus, they're coming into town, and Jerry's there. I mean, Jesus is always there, but Jerry's coming in to be the mouthpiece, and he's going to be telling people about Jesus and remind them where they need to be with the Lord, and to quit all this foolishness and sin, and get right. And he's going to lift somebody's spirits up today that's sick or whatever, and let his light shine. It's not under a bushel, no. And you have a blessed day out there, you and your lovely wife. She ought to get some extra payment for being able to drive all that way. I mean, my wife would never. My wife would always ask me about driving in Atlanta, and she'd say, "I'll drive some." I'd let her drive all the way home. Once I got out of the city, we'd stop. I just didn't like her driving in the city. It. She would get very nervous about some of this. I'd tell her to close her eyes. I'd say, look at your phone, pray, close your eyes, because the next 4 or 5 miles, I'm going to have to drive a little differently than I normally do. We got to fight all this interstate traffic, and I got to get people that want to let you in. You gotta fight for your rights. You got to take those lanes and let them know they're not going to win. You're going to do it. I mean, it's me and you. I'm taking that spot. And my wife would be like, "Oh, David," and she just I say, just hang on. It's going to be okay. But your wife, if she's doing all that driving, she ought to get some sort of a NASCAR honorarium or something. I mean, I know how it is to drive down there. Hey, it ain't no. They don't care. They don't care to hurt your feelings. They don't care to threaten you. They don't care to that horn thing. That's just minor down there, expected. But you gotta drive like a man down there. I mean, they don't play. You gotta let them know we're not. I'll catch up a lot of my praying when I ride with other people. I think my wife did for sure. Oh, you remember when they had before you go? You remember they finally filled it in filled the hole in Marietta on the interstate 75 South. There was a hole in the interstate. I knew where it was at. I couldn't imagine how many front ends got destroyed. It was in the right 2 or 3 lanes, and a lot of times I was getting off at Marietta, and seriously, we can't fill a hole in. That's crazy. But yeah, you gotta. It's like any city, but Atlanta ranks up there with all of them. I mean, you drive different when you come back home. You got to slow yourself down. You got to unwind and say, I'm not in Atlanta anymore. I'm back home because you're driving aggressive, fast. It feels like a video game. it's like about the time now. You're coming in from a different direction. I know 85, I guess. So you coming at 85? I ought to be coming down 75, and about the time you hit Ackworth, that's about the time it starts getting a little cray-cray. And you just become a different person. You have to. If you don't get nowhere. They don't care. It is like a NASCAR race or something. It's like, here we go. I kind of developed my routine, so I already knew ahead of time. And in Atlanta, you better know where you're getting off way ahead of time. And it's still a fight. You don't want to be in the far right, left-hand lane trying to get to the far right-hand lane in the quarter mile. That's death trap. And my recommendation for Atlanta, stay off of 285 if at all possible. I call it death trap 285. I hate that section of interstate, the bypass. It's horrible. The road conditions are horrible. People wreck there often and die there often. I stay off of it if at all possible. Sometimes it's the necessary evil to get where you need to go. I wouldn't say the quickest because there ain't nothing quick about it, but it is the shorter distance. And they're always doing construction. The road changes elevation. There's holes and there's drop-offs and everything changes. 285 is the worst designed stretch of highway I've ever seen in my life. No, we are country rednecks. We stay on the back roads. I figure I stay out of trouble more if I dodge deer rather than other people's pickups and cars. My wife won't let me drive my F-250 up there because she says I act like I'm in a smash-up derby. That would make a great video. Okay, here's Jerry. Jerry and his F-250. Let's go. Remember that old show, Super Dave Osborne? We got Super Jerry in his truck coming into town. I get it. I try to stay back roads as much as I can, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, going to the big city. If the Beverly Hillbillies had just known what they started about leaving the country and coming to the city, they would be no cities, I guess. The way we were designed as all across the world, they really forced cities to become a thing. I mean, they forced everybody into these cities. And now we have all the problems we have. It'd been better if we didn't have. It just isn't good. That was a model. They forced everybody. They wanted everybody to be in these cities. Not as much gas. You got everybody right there. Now they want to go back to that. Everybody's sort of getting out in the suburbs and country. That's become a trend. Now they want to drive everybody back. with the 15-minute cities. They talk about, Agenda 2030, 35, whatever it's called. Where do they get all these numbers? I know that means by 2035, but where do they get these names at? Well, we're gonna put everybody in the same area. We're gonna check their IDs and stuff before they cross state lines. Oh, did I say that? Well, that's what they'd like to do. Look for it in the city coming to you, because it's happening around the world. It's already happening in somewhere, like tolls and stuff. But wait till like Nashville or Atlanta or whatever, you're having to pay a toll just to come into the city, just to come into the city. They do that in London, and it ain't cheap. And they'll do it in the name of needing to build the work on the roads and reduce the crowds, which it don't reduce the crowds. It's a money grab. But that's, they do that in New York, all the bridges coming in. Broski Bear said that's why they call it city driving. Driving slow will cause an accident. Well, that's true. That's true, Broski. I got you. I get it. But you don't want to drive slow, and I don't mean slow. Like, there is no slow, but you get faster than fast. I mean, everybody's going fast. The first time I ever went to Atlanta that I remember, I went with my dad once before I was driving. We went to a Braves game, and we probably went through going to vacation things. But the first time I remember really going through Atlanta, I was with my best friend. His mom and dad divorced, and she was living down there at East Point with her daddy. And we went down there to stay for a week, and we came in at night. It was like 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We came in the city. We're on I-75, and I look over, and my best friend, he is doing about 90 miles an hour. And yes, people were passing us. It's like, my gosh. He said, oh, you got to drive like this down here. You don't get no respect. Good morning, Miss Kim. How are you today? Blessings to you on the last parts of 2025. We're hanging on just a little bit. Yeah, Broski says going the speed limit is unacceptable and dangerous. It is in Atlanta. You can't do that. You cannot do that. It is, like I said, you got to drive aggressive. You got to drive like you got to just take things. I mean, it's expected. They have no respect if you don't drive like that. I remember the first time I was saying this the other day on the show. Where I live, we're always behind, what happens like that or across the nation. But that was the first time. Good morning, Donna. That was the first time that I remember sitting at red lights watching all these cars go through. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, the light is green for us. What are these people doing? And I had never seen that before. And I wasn't even in the downtown area. I was out what we would call suburb down there, crazy. I was like, and every lot was that way. Now they do it here in my town. It was like, light's red. No, you just keep going. Half the lot is now spent for people just running through the lot. And that's just the way that goes. Also, don't be offended when you get cut off or honked at. Oh, that's a given. Yeah, that's a badge of honor. If you're not getting honked at or flipped off or whatever else or cut off, you're not even really driving. I mean, like, they're about ready to pull you over and take care of you if you're not at least doing that. Yes, I am. I'm extreme Northwest Georgia. I'm so far North Georgia, I'm almost Southeast Tennessee, but I'm still Georgia. But I get down to other parts of Georgia quite often. And so I know how it be. I used to go to Atlanta a lot. I used to go down to explore. I was a big into music, so I went to a lot of shows. I'd go to collectible record shops. I was big into sports, so I was going to sporting events, sports shops, sports. I say the bar part. I never was big on bars that much, but I did go to what we call a sports bar to watch all these. I thought it was great to go and watch all these different games on, eat pizza, and and have beer. Yeah, I did. I did do that. Bumpkins need not apply. Well, no, you got to drive like you city folk when you get to city. I mean, you got to do that. you don't play with it. I mean, you gotta change up. Hey, I took my church van. This is funny. I had to do a week-long class down at Georgia Tech, and my car was at the time I was down to my van. I was just an old maroon van. I was blessed to have it, and it drove well, and had the name all written there on the side and everything. So I drove the church van down to Georgia Tech, and I was staying up there. Let's see, I did that twice actually. Once I was staying up there on the Braves exit. That's my company didn't want to pay the prices down in the heart of the city, so but it actually worked out. It was right before the 285 entrance, and I was in and out really quick. I mean, I loved it. It was perfect. I stayed up there at a Holiday Inn or something like that. I can't remember now. But anyway, I drive that van around. I remember the first time I drove in there, Georgia Tech parking deck, which I was a little afraid the van wouldn't fit. It's pretty low, but my antenna was hitting everything through there. But I did drive it up in there. But I was telling somebody back at work, I said, I didn't have a bit of problem with Atlanta this time, with church van. He goes, well, of course not, man. They're afraid God's going to get on to them if they hit that church van. So they were afraid. I said, I never, because I never got flipped off. I never got told, I was number one, or they didn't honk at me. Did not happen the whole week. And they said, well, even though there's a lot of rough people in Atlanta, there's still a bunch of people afraid God's going to get on to them if they do something to God's people. And so he said, I'm sure even the police wouldn't even want to pull you over if you're speeding, because everybody speeds. If you're not speeding, you're not driving in the big city. What's the speed limit? If you're not, I went to a Braves game once. I got off there, this is the old stadium, well, I say old, this is Fulton County Stadium was gone. I went to that. This was, I think, was Turner Field. But anyway, I went down there and I was sitting in line, and I had dealt with Atlanta police officers before, but I'm going to tell you who don't play. Who's a step above Atlanta police officers? That's the motorcycle police officers. They got that hard helmet on. They go to another level. They're like shock troops. And I was sitting there and I was watching. We were all in line, and the police officer, he's got the motorcycle right. He's waving people forward. Well, there was this old man in front of me. Bless his heart. He looked like he was probably about 75, 80 years old. And he didn't move up right away. The guy said, let's go, and the guy didn't move. Like, he hesitated. I don't know why he hesitated. This is before cell phones. This goes back a way. This guy, he didn't have no cell phone. He just hesitated. I was right behind this guy. That officer got in his window. Like, he's in there with that motorcycle helmet on. He has screamed at that guy. I mean, I saw the guy just jumping and shaking. He said, I said, move now. And he's like, I will arrest you. You're holding up traffic. And I'm thinking, dude, all we had to do was move up, 50 feet. I was like, my gosh. I rode by that guy. I was like this, like, I don't even want to look at you. I used to park there at a parking deck right there off of the interstate. And you had to walk a little bit. But here's the thing. I did the whole park under the motel down there one time to go in the stadium. Bad move. You get stuck. So I did some research and started looking. And if I got out of a Braves game, I could walk up. That was, I don't know, half a mile. I don't know what it was. Probably a half a mile from the stadium to this spot. And my wife, I would, because my wife would be like, can't you park any closer? And I'd be like, listen, this is better. The first time I did this, I was walking on a wing in a prayer anyway, because I hadn't really tested the theory. It was an idea that I had, but I had to sell it to my wife like I knew what I was talking about. And she had her doubts, because she was like, can't you drop me off? And then no, it's good. It's a good exercise for us. And, we'll park here. And I said, where I park at, we're going to get right out of here. And my wife was like, oh my gosh, how much further, but we did it. And sure enough, coming back, all the traffic was stuck. Where I parked at in that parking deck, it was closed when you came in, but when you went out, they had another gate they would open up. I parked in the spot right beside that gate, which nobody wanted. I don't know why. And I guess with that closed gate, they thought they were going to be stuck. But no, I'd park there. They open the gates. You're right out, and you go drive across the bridge, and you're right there on 75. It was perfect. But I had to do a lot of convincing of my wife that was the case, because she didn't like walking long distances. I had to convince her, Donna says, I've been to Norcross, Georgia, where the Plaid Folk Art Company is I authored my books with. Oh, okay. Norcross. I've been through Norcross a bit. Broski, ever driven? No, I haven't. I can say I've never been to Jersey. I've never been there. I probably would look like an idiot. The Cross Bronx Expressway. No, I've watched some mob movies though, and I think I probably understand what you're talking about. I had a friend that went to the Statue of Liberty once, and apparently he got in the wrong lane, and they had to stop traffic for him to switch lanes because he was in the wrong lane. He said that was a bad day. everybody, everybody gave him heck, from the police to the drivers to everybody else. I mean, he said he was getting hollered at, go back to Georgia, idiot. And I had some people I knew that was in Boston, and there's the first time they ever seen a roundabout. This roundabout had something like 8 lanes or something. And every time you went around, you paid $7. He could never get over. He had went through this roundabout 3 times, $7 each time. And finally, the police laughing stopped the traffic, let him get over. They didn't know how to get over. Apparently, they didn't know. You just got to take it. You just got to go. I'm coming in. Get ready, because here I come. I'm coming in. You can't maneuver and change lanes quick enough in a pickup. Well, you can. You just have to fight. But Georgia has some rough spots. They do. I hope, Miss Kim, I hope you're doing well today. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas, and everybody else here. And we get ready for New Year's. Y'all got any New Year's plans? Going to go to any parties, dinner parties, or are you just going to weather it out at home and have a celebration? Do you watch the ball drop? My mom was always, we had to watch that all the time. Don, I live in New Jersey. Traffic is nuts. Get out of the way. Oh, man. I can only imagine. I have never been there. I would hate, what I feel bad for is people that like make deliveries and stuff and driving in that. Of course, with a big truck, I mean, what are you going to do? You going to hit them? I mean, they kind of just take the lane as well, but that could be difficult. Around where I live, they mess with the truck drivers, and they will tell them, the newbies, they don't know. The GPS will be leading them up to an area that is a tunnel, and the trucks will not fit. And I have seen 18-wheelers get stuck in that little area, and it's a bad day. They have signage, but sometimes they just don't see it. I mean, there's a little town near me that's the same way. It goes under a train trestle, and trucks will not fit there. And it's fairly often we get trucks that are stuck, and it shuts the city down. It's a little town, but it's a mess. But we're praying for her then. I am so sorry to hear that. I was just mentioning that I have I got family that's been sick with the flu. I mean, it's down around my area. There's a lot of people sick, and sorry to hear that. Absolutely praying for my dear friend, and I hate that. Nobody wants to feel bad. People know how to whip it in the Northeast. People changing lanes 3 feet off your front bumper. Well, it's like I said, I tell my wife, just close your eyes, because you're not going to like me for the next few miles. It's the only way that I could get anywhere. You got to just fight for your right. I mean, I'm coming in. When we were 16 years old, and this was extremely dumb, but hey, a lot of people 16 years old does dumb things. And I told you about my friend's mom. She lived in Atlanta after his parents divorced, and he would go down there and visit her. And that's what I'm hearing. It is bad, bad, bad. All the doctor's offices are filled, the emergency rooms. It's really bad. My granddaughter is recovering from it right now, and she never goes to the doctor. She went to the doctor and the ER, and it is really bad. So who wants to be sick? It's a horrible thing. But we were down in Atlanta. That she lived in East Point, but we rode all over Atlanta, and this is the dumbest thing ever. Like, we were two out. I mean, his mom was living in East Point, but he was kind of an out of towner because he wasn't down there all the time. She had just moved there, and we're up on the interstate, and for kicks and giggles, which was stupid, I'll admit it. Ignorance of youth. I don't know why we chose this guy, and we just decided we would give him a hard time. I don't know why. Just rebellion. I don't know. And so my friend, my best friend, God rest in peace. He was murdered when we were both 21. So this goes a long time ago. We were 16 at the time, and no, he didn't do anything to deserve being murdered. He was murdered. It was a family domestic, and I lost my brother in life. He's been dead a long time. But anyway, he could do some crazy stuff. He was a big cut up. He really just did things for laughs, but he flipped this guy off. I mean, I was like, I didn't even, okay, he just did it. So I'm there, I'm partner in crime because I'm in the car. And I'm like, what are you doing that for? He said, I'll just pick at this guy. Well, this guy, he didn't take it well. I don't know how you're supposed to take that. And I remember it was a convertible. The guy had his top down. And so we're like stuck in traffic, but we're like, kind of doing this business where he flips the guy off and the guy flips him back off. And I'm like, okay, I would never do that. My dad would have taken my hand off of my arm if I'd ever done that. But, two different kind of values of families, and his family would have thought it's funny. My dad would have killed me if I'd done it. But here I am. I'm a partner in crime. I'm away from home. And I'm thinking, this ain't funny, but yeah, flu A is rampant, Miss Donna says. So, so y'all be safe out there. But so they get into this flipping out each other off thing, and they're hollering things. It's interstate, you can't hear. But the guy's like, when he get ahead of us, he was leaned over the back of his seat, flipping my buddy off. Well, at some point, it got, tempers flared. It got a little intense in my buddy. He noticed this guy looked like he was in a rage. And he said, hey, this guy looks mad. I'm like, you think? So and by now the traffic has sped back up. We are flying. And if you know anything about Atlanta, right off this is on 75. But they have those exits, so you hit them. I mean, you do the circle kind of thing, I mean, it's not a straight exit. They got those, but I'm talking about one of those circle exits, that come up. So he was always he could drive a car, a motorcycle, anything. He could put it anywhere, anyway. And I was all when I was direction guy. I was the guy. Where'd I go? What'd I do? That's what he would say. What'd I do? So we were coming up on, and I knew this guy there's no way he could make this exit. So all I had to say to my friend was, can you make? And that point, I mean, once I got that out, he was doing it. And I knew that. So we're like sideways trying to get on this exit, but we made it. And he passed it up. He was trying to get there, but he couldn't. And that's how we got away from him. But I was thinking, this is probably not the place to do that, dude. Like, you could die here. Let's not be doing that. He had a motorcycle. We had been away. His motorcycle had broken, and he had these next door neighbors. I didn't realize how cray they were, but they were great at fixing. You ever had to do that? Like somebody you don't really want to deal with them. They're a little crazy, but they really good at mechanicing or something. Well, that's the way he was. He couldn't fix his motorcycle, so they fixed it for him. We got back. They did some extra stuff to it too. They like souped it up. I mean, we went out by the airport and we threw her down. I mean, we were flying at midnight. But when we left his apartment where they were at, we rode down to Loud Pops. It was a Loud Pop. We rode down to a Popeye's Chicken there in East Point. If you know anything about East Point, you can only imagine. So he's sitting there and he's adjusting something on his bike and he's just revving it. And Loud Pops. And there's a car parked beside us. And the people in the front seat have went in to get the chicken. There's a guy in the back seat and he's right there, window down. It's summertime, right by this motorcycle, which has these loud pops. He's not my buddy, best friend. He's not even cognizant that there's a guy there. And this guy's just looking at us. He's giving us that look like, hey, James, good morning to you, brother. Happy Monday. But anyway, he's goosing this bike, and the guy's just looking at us like, yeah, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. So he finally does his adjustment. He says, you ready? I said, yeah. He said, hang on. Well, I knew that meant. So we're in between these two cars, No, he ain't going to back out. So what he's going to do is pop a wheelie and spin the bike and lay it back down. But he did that. This guy laid down in his seat. Like there's no way the bike could have got to him. But I'll never forget him laying down in the seat like he's trying to get away from the motorcycle. I thought, we're not in Kansas anymore. Oh my goodness. We had so much fun. I can't even mention some of the stuff we did. I won't I don't know. I'll just say I'll leave some of that to memories. but we were cut loose at 16 and having fun and got out of hand a little bit. But we'll just say I learned some proper respect. So country boys went to the city and found out you got to be a little very careful there. James, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're feeling well. I saw you the other morning. You got that new computer in. I mean, man, I saw you better, man. I mean, it looks good, man. I'm happy for you, and I hope all is well with you and your family. You can tell some of them Wednesday night. Oh boy, I might get in trouble. Woo, that's a long old memory. And I know it's not the big city, but I'm going to tell you down there in Woodstock, Georgia, Miss Kim, that's some pretty heavy traffic down there. You kind of have to get a little aggressive down there, a little bit. Not as bad as Atlanta, but you got to. Yeah, high winds and knocked out our electric. I didn't realize. Like I come in, I was working. I got called in work. I come in at midnight. I was on about 12:20, 12:30, something like that. And resting for Wednesday. I come in and I just shut the door. Like I had the lock on, but I didn't realize I didn't shut the door all the way. Big dummy me. And that wind got up and blew my front door open. Woodstock secret is out. But yeah, get some rest. I hope people are still able to be out of work for the week or all week or most of it. We'll tackle the stuff when we get back. Our place is shut down, but security called me. I do a little bit of security. I meet some good people and enjoy it, but they called me in and that was a sickness. Somebody was sick. So tornado watches last night in December. How crazy. Yeah, well, this weather is crazy. Top places to live in Georgia. Yeah, it's a great area, no doubt. And but yeah, it's getting busy. It's getting real busy. I remember years ago I went out to the let's see, very east Georgia, and I guess it was down there around. It was not Savannah, but it was within range. It's a military base out there. They had a lot of military coming back into the country from overseas, and they were building these subdivisions to be ready for it. And they were just all built up and ready to go. They were just waiting on the troops to get there. But it was a pastor friend of mine. I just met him, but he took me all around, and we visited some of the places there. And he was showing me how much his town was going to change within a matter of a few months because they were starting to get a lot of people from overseas that had been over there for a long time with wars and stuff were coming home. And a lot of them were attached to that base. And so it was one of the quickest or fastest growing counties in the state of Georgia at that time. Now, I don't know what it is now. I want a lake property somewhere. Yeah. Well, you think you could probably get over there on, Lanier, because everybody's scared to death. They think it's cursed and all that, but usually they're drunk and not wearing any kind of flotation device. But because of that city that was sunk, and the story, and there are a lot of trees that were not completely cut down when they filled that in. But you could probably find something over there. But I don't know. The rich people, they like to get over and get on the. I got to go out to the Lanier Islands a couple of times. I got to go to a couple of governors' events, a governor's barbecue. I hobnobbed with the people, some power folks. I got to meet the governor and his dear wife, Nathan Deal. And but I had a good time out there. I got to meet a lot of folk. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? I'm thinking I'm scratching two nickels together. These people are, this is the creme de la creme on the conservative side anyway. With a few rhinos mixed in, we used to go out there and we go. I don't. They stopped them, but I used to like to go out there at those barbecues. They was pretty cool. not not near for sure. Uh, Dave, you see all the construction going on by me. It doesn't stop until every open lot has been built on, for sure. Hospitals, police station, tower, townhomes, apartment buildings. Yeah, once them developers get going, I mean, they just keep going. I mean, it doesn't stop. The concrete jungle. you know, enjoy the sound of jackhammers and dirt on your highway and mud and everything else for a long time. And those great orange construction barrels, they grow, they mate and grow. And we have them. They started here in Chattanooga area, and we have not seen them ever completely gone on the interstates. And we have one of the worst interstate design changes that have ever been made. I hate it. They spent tons of money. This is in Tennessee. It's not on the Georgia side. You cross just out of Georgia as you meet this horrible interchange that they came up with. We needed it expanded and all that, but it is a death trap. In fact, there's people died there in that area. But yeah, I'm enjoying being off today. We do got I got a couple of family little things going on today. We'll be on tonight. I didn't broadcast last night, as I said. I was at work. I tried to tool around the internet and check on some folks, but there's a lot of people not on Sunday night. But I'm sure that I know James. Is this movie night for you? Is Monday movie night? I think is that Sunday night? I think it's Monday night, right? You got the old movie thing going on. James does the movies. Let's see. Yeah, call it Spaghetti Junction, and it's yeah, and that's what it feels like. I remember the first time I ever went 285 over there, where you go back onto 85. That's one of those areas I told my wife to just close her eyes. And they're always doing construction there. I have taken a wrong turn by accident because the signage was horrible, and I missed it. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to be driving aggressively for the next 20 minutes to get back to where we need to be. So just look at your phone. And I said, I got to do what I got to do. It was a mess. But yeah, I don't like that area. I don't like it. Up there around Jimmy Carter Boulevard. That's the first time, not being disparaging or anything like that. Full disclosure here. Check the box. I'm not, but Jimmy Carter Boulevard was the first store I went into where I could not understand the clerk at all. At all. Obviously from out of country. Obviously. And he thought I was asking for money. My accent, I don't know. He didn't understand me. And I was like, what are you talking about? No money. That's all I understood he said. No money. What? You don't want mine? He's getting mad. What are you talking about, dude? I don't understand you. You don't understand me. I was like, what did I say? I'm looking at people. Somebody told me, they said, he thinks that you want money from him. I said, no, I'm trying to buy gas. What did I say? I still don't know. We got our gas, though. I think the guy still thought I was trying to rip him off. Nothing about Atlanta made me want to go there. I caught the feel of the South. I think I'm in the wrong skin tone to go there. Any reason to go there? Well, if you want to go sporting event or concerts or something like that, you might have a business thing, training. I've done that. By the way, Broski, I told you the Bears are going to lose to the 49ers. I'm not a 49ers fan. It was a great game, but I told you. Wasn't going to happen. But your Bears are almost there. The dollar was held out there with a fishing pole. You almost won that game. Almost. I haven't been. I tried not to go to Atlanta anymore. If I have to do this because I have to. I used to subject myself to that because I wanted to. And I was standing in a collective. I've told this story before. I was standing in this little collectible record shop down in Atlanta, and when the door opened up, I heard the guy say, "Hey, I got all your records for you." Uh, and the voice was unmistakable. It was the lead singer of the B-52s. It's like there ain't but one person in the world has that voice. But I ran into him. He must have bought 50 albums that day. They were playing I guess they were playing the Lakewood amphitheater that night. But it was like a home date for them. I mean, basically, they formed down there at UGA. I think. Don't worry, Dave. Bears get to beat up on your Falcons next week. Oh, that'll happen. Well, we get to see the Falcons on Monday Night Football. like that's going to be any good. But you know what? The Falcons are that kind of team, though. If they can hurt you, they'll have a horrible season. But if they can hurt your team, they'll do it because they like to do that because they ain't ever going anywhere. So they like to be a spoiler. I don't know that we could spoil you, but I think the Bears are kind of needing to win now. I mean, like it could be bad for them. I mean, they need to win. I think they're in the play. Are they in the playoffs? But they were trying to get hold on to the lead or whatever. I haven't looked today. I'll have to look that up. But I've been busy. Oh, next season. I'm sorry. Well, I was just giving you a hard time. I want to be next week. Oh, but I didn't get to watch the game, but I did see this. Well, I saw a highlight or two of the game. But is that game in Atlanta or in Chicago? Chicago. I haven't looked at next year's schedule. So you're a fan. You already looked ahead, looked at next season. You got your little pocket game day calendar, ready to go. Knowing who you're playing each week, you're probably planning to go to a game or two, and maybe that's a game you'll go to. Maybe that's a reason to go to Atlanta. If it's in Atlanta, you could go to Atlanta for the Bears game. A lot of Bears fans will turn out for sure. Oh my goodness! So and we'll be on tonight with our sports and racing. Our special guest, like I said, Scott Smith, dirt track driver, tonight, next Monday, a week from today, we have an interview with Miss Amy Petula, who wrote the Corpsewood Manor Murders. About that, she'll be on with us. I'm not sure if it's going to be live or recorded because of the time we have to do it. I'm going to talk to her and just finalize what she wants to do. It may go live if it does, but it'll be aired. It'll be aired as a live. But because it's going to be up during the day a little bit, and so that's why I got to decide what we're going to do with that. But we'll air it. We'll air it again. But she is writing a second book that deals with some ongoing things out of that. But she does ghost tours in Chattanooga. I'm hoping to go this week, maybe, and do one of them with her. In the metropolis of Chattanooga, and also Southern Shadows, which does some down in the little metropolis of Chickamauga. And our history show is going to be covering. We got some footage. Me and Biscuit Boy, we went out and we did some footage in the park, the National Battlefield, and ran into some nice folks out there. The weather was fantastic. It's changing now, but when we were out there on Friday, we went out there. It was beautiful. Just great weather. We had a good time. We met a lot of people hiking, walking, out for the day with their animals, having a great time out. I realized how diseased those trees are in the National Battlefield. Trees down everywhere. Widowmakers everywhere in that park. You got to really be careful. But it was a great day to get out and do some of that. We met some people from Texas who were visiting National parks for their son who was doing a paper on a particular general, and had visited Vicksburg, was visiting Chickamauga, and then was going to Shiloh. Well, I love that's a in Savannah, Tennessee. That's a great area, but it's nothing out there. The area of Buford Pusser, if you remember that, that was his area back in the day. Now they're trying to say he murdered his wife and all this. I don't know about all that. Who knows? But I did enjoy the movie Walking Tall, the original Walking Tall, not the redone one, but the original Walking Tall. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. I was 1974. 1974. We walked across after watching the movie, and we went to this record store. That's what they called them back then. But we bought a cassette tape of Merle Haggard's. What was that name of that album? I'm an Okie from Muskogee album, live. I wore that thing out. All of his hits and stuff live. That was a really, I love that. I don't know. I never knew my mom to be in the country a whole lot. I don't know why she chose that particular one. My mom was always more pop, Elvis, things like that. And she liked like Dolly and stuff. But I don't know why she bought that. Still this day, I think maybe she was buying it for my dad. He was bigger in the country than she was. But I remember I listened to it a lot. I remember my dad ever getting it up. You remember back then they had these things, they were called dynamites or something like that. It was a radio with a cassette tape option, and they had the little handle came out. It was supposed to be like a plunger type thing. It was supposed to be built on this dynamite thing. And those were very popular at the time. You could get them in different colors. And if I remember right, ours was red, but you could get them in blue and yellow and red and probably another color or two. But we bought those at the old Kmart back in the day, which was a big retailer back in 1974. The blue light special. Kmart had your little diner. Those were actually pretty good little diners. Everybody go in there and pick up they had the little pharmacy, and you just had deals all over the place. They had the entertainment area. Everybody went there and bought TVs and games and stuff like that. That was the big shopping place back in the day. Kmart's and Hills. Everybody went between the two in my town with a little bit of Otasco mixed in and probably something else. We never had to leave the city. We stay right here in my little town, and we'd shop for everything. Which is all the same. Everybody had the same stuff. Man, but trying to afford that. I listened to this show, an audio show, Friday night. Was it Friday night or Saturday night? Saturday night, I listened to this audio show, and I was listening to the perspective of someone who is living here. I really enjoyed it. But they were living here, and they're singing the praises of this new leader over the Sahel, that Western Africa sort of union out there with Burkina Faso and Mali, and I don't know. Anyway, he's kind of over that, and singing his praises. And he is, that they know they've got terrorists. They wouldn't say the word, but they got terrorists. Anyway, I listened to this thing for, I don't know, a couple of hours and listened to what people had to say. I really enjoyed, the lady was a Christian, but she had some mixed in ideas about it. And I really enjoyed what some of the guests had to say as they come up. And I spoke for a few minutes, but Burkina Faso, if you didn't know, that's under an Islamic invasion force that's coming in. And they kicked the French out. She said it because of a bad deal, a bad trade deal, but the Russians have raised their flags in the town. We have missionaries on the ground. They've built schools and churches there and continuing to grow their ministry. And they already told us this months or a year ago. And they were talking about that, but she was making it seem like the Russians coming in was a good thing. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. And these terrorists are talking about that's an Islamic invasion force that's coming down in a lot of the countries within Africa, and whether it's Sudan or wherever, they're really in it. Like they're battling bad. And these refugees are flying out of those areas and coming into their area, which is creating a great mission opportunity. Absolutely. They're even Muslim kids in the Christian schools and stuff because they know they'll give them a good education and they're able to tell them about Jesus and they're seeing effective, witnesses and people making a commitment for Christ. But anyway, that's a whole backstory to this. That's how I got involved with it. But she's praising this young leader over there, claims he's had 24 attempts made on his life, and he was very frugal and everything. But anyway, it's a fascinating discussion. And they talked about Nigeria and obviously the Christians. They don't, and this was her take. This was her take about our bombing of Nigeria. This is what they said. This is what they were saying. They're based here that the president's only bombing ISIS because he wants to invade Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. That they want the precious metals there. They want the zinc, the copper, the uranium, the gold, and all this. And it's an invasion preparatory force that's coming in. I'm like, you people have smoked something strange. We're not going to be landing C-130s there and going into an invasion of 3 African nations. Come on. That's not going to happen. But that is absolutely what there are people that are saying that's what he's doing. Fascinating. I'm going to talk about that on my news program. We're going to bring up some videos and stuff. I didn't get to do it last night. I'm hoping to bring that in tonight. So, but anyway, it is. I do need to wrap it up and get off of here and go get my wife up and help her. And we'll be back on soon, but not working today. Off still as the plant is shut down. Turning my phone off. If anybody calls, I'm not answering. We're going to be podcasting and doing some family stuff. Be safe out there. Stay healthy. Stay away from the sickness if you can. Broski, I don't know because I'm not connected and I am totally not paying attention. To be honest, there's no problem, but I'm doing my thing and I have not paid attention whatsoever. I'm over here doing my thing. They're over there doing their thing, and I really don't know. I'm being serious. I couldn't tell you what's going on. I don't go stalk, and I am I'm busy doing everything Dave's doing over here, and I really honestly do not know. We talked 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's it. So just don't know, man. I just don't know. Wish them well. Wish them well. Nothing wrong. We're not broadcasting together anymore, and I'm just not. I don't know. I don't keep up that way. I got enough going on trying to keep my schedule where it needs to be, and we're building stuff and new shows, and we've got an exciting year coming up. Lord willing, we're stepping up our game on guests, and we've got a retired brigadier general coming on. Biscuit Boy brought this to us, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do it live from his place, and I can't wait to do that one. That will happen at the first of the year. We've got some that are going to be waiting till after the holidays, but we are working on all kinds of different kinds of interviews, authors, books, different kinds of. Wolf Nation will be doing a lot of different kinds of folks as we talk about outdoor adventures. And we will see a lot more outdoor videos and stuff that we're doing, places we visit. So I am really busy, really, really busy. And I'm still trying to get logos ready and up in our store. I've got to kind of reboot the store a little bit. And I got to get the new logos over to the coffees. And so just busy, man. So I don't mean it in a bad way. I just don't pay attention. I got no time for it. And for what reason? To be seeing what they're doing. I just don't know. I know they're broadcasting a little bit on different days, not as much and not as on many channels, but that's all I know. So that's it, man. That's all I know. But have a great day out there. Lord bless you. Stay healthy. Pray for Miss Kim. Continue to pray for my wife. I would appreciate that. And let's pray for the United States of America. We need it. Let's pray some people go to jail soon. What are we doing? Like there's some people should be arrested already. Where's the TV crews in hand coming in the middle of the night, pulling people out in their underwear? That's what the last administration did. They did a whole lot of that. Where's the arrest at? Where's the indictments? We know some people have done illegal things. What are we doing? I mean, we're almost a year in, and we've not seeing any arrest. What's going on? Somebody needs to be replaced, and quickly. We need to see that happen before the midterms. Things are going to change if we don't if those elections don't go well. Anyway, just a question: what are we doing? What's up? Let's just be some people already. Giuliani's on trial, right? Is that starting this week, or there's all kinds of stuff? Time to fire. I agree. What are we doing? When I suggested that early on, yeah, at least he is. When I suggested early on, I got told, Dave, it takes time. You have to assemble the case. I said, I understand that, but the case was pretty much already there. I mean, they had all the evidence. I mean, like, we got to top up some stuff. Like, let's add some legal secretaries in, and let's get these things all topped up. I mean, how long does it take to top up an indictment? I mean, get a grand jury assembled. I mean, what are we doing here? And here we are, all these months later, almost a year later, nothing. I was expecting arrests in the first 2 months, honestly, 3 at the most, and that was going slow. We're not seeing it. I'm disappointed. I'm not happy. I mean, these people they've committed crimes against the nation, and they should be dealt with. And and on a federal level, on a state level, we got people who've done some massive fraud. Let's get up there in Minnesota and take a closer look on. We've done that, but nobody's been arrested. Nobody's in trouble. Let's start arresting some people. Exactly. What are we doing? I mean, if you're guilty, you're guilty. If you've done it, you've done it. Then you answer in court. That you get your day in court. That's what our justice system is supposed to be. But you make the charges, you assemble the grand jury, you present the evidence, and you can finish getting all your case together as you get ready for a court date, which will be pushed back for a while. Honestly, that's what they'll do, and as they bring in all their money lawyers and everything else. So you can make the arrest, and then you work on your case. But this reminds me of the war between the states, and it doesn't matter. This is not a political statement, but it is, but it isn't. But when Abraham Lincoln would tell his generals to, like he was expecting action, and he had to fire them because he said they had the slows. I mean, like they had an overwhelming force, overwhelming, 3 times as much sometimes in most cases, 3 times as much. But they just dribbed and drabbed, and they were afraid of making some sort of incursion into an area. They avoided the enemy. They were afraid of the enemy, thought they were outnumbered, and all this stuff. And President Lincoln, he would actually write a letter and fire them and put it in a drawer, and then he'd change his mind. And there were times he had to replace the leader, but it was like, what are you doing? I mean, get with it. I've given you've got over 100,000 men and all the ammunition and stuff you need. Go. And they wouldn't do it. And I would imagine the president's about sick of it. If some of his posts seem to indicate that, he is not happy with what's going on in this area. And listen, they've committed crimes against our nation, or their state. These people need to answer for it. We're uncovering the stuff is being uncovered continually that goes back and shows the illegal actions that were taken during the 2020 election and stuff ongoing from there, voter rolls and violations, and people allowed to vote, allowed to register. We got to get all this crap cleaned up. I mean, it's important. It's important. And people need to be brought up on charges and answer for those, because they've ripped our tax dollars off. They've done illegal actions with that. I was watching this guy in a video, and I think he was in Minnesota. And he goes to this building. Have you seen this video? He goes to this building that has 14 different healthcare providers within one building. And he's just going around asking how he can get some free healthcare. And they get mad and call the cops and say, he's in here trying to insinuate that we're all doing something illegal. And he goes, no, I was just in here trying to find out if I get some free health care. And nobody will give me an answer. And now they got the police there, and the police ran them out and said, we're gonna get you for disorderly conduct and trespassing and all this stuff. And he said, what, I can't come in here? I can't come in and ask the question? He showed it, got the video going on, and that's what happens. That's what's going on. So they ran him out. He never said anything out of the way. He didn't cause a scene. He just would walk in and say, is this where I can get some free health care? I need to sign up. How do I sign up? They say, no, you need to leave. And, if you see that video, you'll know why they told him to leave. They weren't giving free health care to him. It's very evident when you go look at it. But thank goodness for, citizens that are stepping up and going to these places and asking questions. And that's what they said. So, well, he's just in here filming to cause a problem. No, I mean, he's getting a video out of it, sure. But he's showing what's going on in this building. So you can't walk in a building, you can't walk into an office, and you can't ask a question. That's all he did. He didn't cause a scene. He didn't yell. He didn't put anybody's information on the air. He didn't do anything according to the video I saw. He just went and asked questions. They called cops, and the cops made him leave. It's kind of like when Colton Moore in the 53rd District here in Georgia went down to Hartsville Airport and went down there. They found out down there, and he went down there asking questions, and they put him on the run. I mean, that's, they brought the law in because he got video of all these people being flown in and different things about it. He had questions about it. What's going on here right in my state? And, and then later, they put him on the ground down there because he was trying to go into a joint session, and they had forbid him in that room, and they arrested him. I mean, this is where we're at, folks. This is where we're at. You start asking questions, they don't like that. They don't want you asking questions. They don't want you filming. They don't want you looking and seeing what's behind the door number 1, door number 2, door number 23. James talks about it up there in his Springfield and all the NGOs that are there. A crazy number. They don't want to answer for that. I mean, think of the billions and billions of dollars that have been wasted. It's absolutely, and who has benefited from that? How does the senator get rich, filthy rich? And I would say on all sides, how do they get rich on a salary of $100,000 or $200,000, whatever it is? A lot of it's around $175,000 or something like that. How do they get rich? How do they become multimillionaires? Let's do some looking into that. You've been there for 4 years and you're worth $30 million, or you've been there 6 years or whatever it is, you're worth $30 million, $40 million, $50 million. What's going on? Yeah, they have stocks and stuff, and they are bought into companies, but then they sold at the exact time. This has happened all over the place, that they knew that some of this stuff was going to be sold, stock splits and everything else, and they made a bunch of money, a ton of money. And they're going out, they're getting filthy rich while they're in there. And after, 6 years, they get a pension and free health care. And these are the people supposed to be representing us. Term limits, folks, term limits. There shouldn't be no free ride on that, because that's on our dime. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Get you fired up. Get your blood pressure up on a Monday. Have a great day out there. I do got some things I need to do. I'm glad I don't have to make deliveries to school. I don't have to go to work. And we're going to enjoy the day at home. Special guest tonight. Be looking forward to it. We'll talk about your Bears, broski, next season. We'll talk about that. We might show the Bears schedule for next season. We might just do that since you brought that up. Have a great day. Salute. Lord bless you. Be safe. Be sweet, as we say down here in the South. Yeah. There we go.
Up all night, knee deep in Why does it hurt?